This is QTV News and I am Jena Bosonko. Thanks for joining us on the fifth weekend of 2020. First, the headlines. Today is World Braille Day, only the second time it has been commemorated, having been first celebrated in 2019. We give a brief overview of what it's all about. World AIDS Day 2019 was on the 1st December. We find out how the day was commemorated in the last week of December 2019. And members of 3 years Jotna explain what they say happened when they tried to hold a fundraising event. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us. Today is World Braille Day, only the second time it has been commemorated, having first been celebrated in 2019. In commemoration of World Braille Day, here's a feature explaining and a clip featuring poet Aliu Jallo, which was featured on QTV's Youth Dialogue program in 2019. The day is observed to raise awareness of the importance of Braille as a means of communication in the full realization of human rights for blind and partially sighted people. Braille is a tactile, meaning using the sense of touch, representation of alphabetic and numerical symbols using 6 dots to represent each letter and number, and even musical, mathematical and scientific symbols. Braille, named after its inventor in the 19th century France, Louis Braille, is used by blind and partially sighted people to read the same books and periodicals as those printed in a visual font. Braille is essential in the context of education, freedom of expression and opinion, as well as social inclusion, as reflected in Article 2 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. As a result of the positive impact his invention has had around the world, Louis Braille has been honored in various ways across the world, including with statues and various other commemorations. An example of the use of Braille in the ECOWAS region can be seen in this image from Sierra Leone's 2018 elections. The image shows, just before going to the polls, a training officer reading a tactile Braille ballot guide to ensure blind and vision-impaired persons know how to vote.
A great teacher, the face on the mirror is, though does he teach, I from him seldom learn. Yet when I keenly listen with my mind's ear, I do hear the wisdom he inspires in me. So the stanza is long, but just to give you a gist of what Braille is, just by touching this with our fingers, we can read and like. So it's Braille, and we are very grateful here. Start now. All these things are taught here, through the initiative of Aliu Jallo. We have the Braille machines here for visually impaired, and we have computers, as you must have seen elsewhere. So it's a great thing that we are learning here.
Reporting for QTV News, I am Jena Bosonko. World AIDS Day 2019, which fell on the 1st of December, was commemorated on Saturday by the National Youth Leadership Network under the National Youth Council. With this year's theme, Communities Make the Difference.
As part of this year's commemoration, the United Nations Youth Leadership Network, the Gambia chapter, with support from the UNAIDS, the Gambia, organized a training session on HIV and AIDS and sexual and reproductive health for 200 young people. Masane Gray Dabo, Program Manager for the Gambia Network for AIDS Support Societies, GAMNAS, gave the statistics of HIV cases from 1984 to date.
It is estimated that 37.7 million people have HIV virus, and from 1984 to date, 35 million people die of AIDS. Not everybody is equipped with the facts on how to protect themselves from HIV, and stigma and discrimination remains life-changing reality for the people living with HIV.
Alaji Jaju of the National Youth Council advised the youth to concentrate on their education.
The best way out is making sure that we abstain. Where it is not possible to abstain is being faithful to your partner, and in the worst case scenario, using a condom. But I think the best way out is ensuring that we are able to abstain as young people. So we are able to achieve our aim of having 0 new infections. Where again, as young people or as communities, we see our peers or our partners who are infected, it's quite important that we do not discriminate against them. But it's important we bring them closer to us as friends, as family members, or as relatives, and assist them and support them, to take the medication as expected of them.
Lamin Jai of the National AIDS Secretariat said scientifically there is no cure for HIV and AIDS.
It is important to note that scientifically there is no cure for HIV and AIDS. However, significant strides are made in providing treatment that suppresses the virus by enhancing a healthy life for those infected with the virus. The ART, as it is called, is an effective treatment of HIV which, if adhered to, have the capability of suppressing the viral load, thereby minimizing the chance of infection.
According to Masane Great Dabo, 37.5 million people are living with the AIDS virus, whilst 35 million people have lost their lives to the condition. Ansumana Esonyasi for QTV News.
Members of 3 years Jotna have accused the Gambia police force of trespassing and cancelling their planned fundraising program on Friday night at the Samagajane Hall. Angry members say the police told them they needed to get a permit from the office of IG before staging the event. Momudu Gajaga has been following developments, and this is his report.
There was never any time for the past 25 years permits out at the police never program. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's about stand no police down Bulung. You can program left police full.
There was never a time in the last 25 years where you need a permit to stage a show at the Samagajane Hall. This is an enclosed place and not a public road. Normally, what you can do is to write to the police to give you at least 2 officers serving as security for your event. One of the members of the group, who prefers to be called Kamaraba, says the police stopped their fundraising because President Barrow is paranoid.
Akijole farta asilantale kodi barakamal milkana jang ngani kodo milkana jang asilanta wolnya but I understand the right now mundo ndelenga kibaro so mo ka be wili keme kaleje sign thing na information so ko ay invite minna wili keme akaba donate la operation 3 years Jotna.
He is paranoid of this movement, but what he fails to understand is even at this moment someone has expressed his willingness to donate us $100,000. He cannot stop 3 years Jotna. Yankuba Dabo, also a member of the group, says the police have no right to bar them from organizing a fundraising show.
The police cannot even tell us under what section of what laws they are acting to require us to seek a permit in order to hold this event. This is not a demonstration. This wasn't a protest. This is a fundraising event where it's going to be a music event. It's going to be an entertainment program, but they want a permit for that. The only excuse they come up with is that this is a public ground. If you want to use it, you will need a permit from the IGP. For what? And they cannot even cite any sections of the laws of the Gambia to justify that requirement. It doesn't make sense. Anybody, any reasonable Gambian will know that this is persecution, a classic example of it. That is what is happening in this Gambia. The very country that is now taking Myanmar and other countries to the international court, claiming that those countries have violated the human rights of their people, but that is the same government doing the same thing to their own citizens, simply because those citizens have a dissenting view.
The 3 years Jotna group is demanding that the president honors the 3-year coalition agreement, which included that he steps down in January 2020 for fresh elections to be held, which he will not contest. The 3 years Jotna group vows to continue their demand for President Barrow to step down with a second protest set for later this month. President Barrow had announced on Sunday, 8 December, during his final meeting in the capital Banjul, as he wrapped up his 2019 constitutionally mandated countrywide tour, his intention to register a political party in December 2019 to seek re-election in the 2021 presidential election. This was confirmed in a press release dated the 31st of December 2019 from the Independent Electoral Commission that President Barrow has set up his own political party, the National People's Party, to take part in the 2021 elections. The party's General Secretary and interim leader is listed as Mr. Adama Barrow. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we find out which Gambian athletes have been identified as the nation's best from 2019, and the nation's forestry department sets out its agenda for sustainable use of our forest resources. Stay tuned.
QCell is at it again with its brand new free mobile app.
Oh yes! Now you can access the wonderful world of QCell with the new app and get all your favorite services on the app. There's no need to remember any codes.
Fantastic! No more codes. And even better, with the new app you can live stream QTV and listen to Q Radio on your phone anywhere, anytime.
Yes! Listen to Q Radio Live, purchase your Q Power tokens, use your Q Money wallet, and do much more, all for free on the app.
Go now and download the app for free from Play Store or the App Store.
And you can get 30 days free QTV streaming once you download the app. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's because it's QCell, the network you trust for great things. QCell, a decade of innovation.
A lifetime of trust.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. 4 Gambian athletes have been profiled by Gambian News for their outstanding achievements in 2019. Gina Bass, Seni Jawo, Mbai Jara and Asan Sise took part in their diverse sporting disciplines. Our reporter Momudu Gajaga takes a look at their profiles.
The police officer come athlete is no stranger to athletics. She is one who has sacrificed to represent the Gambia, even without much needed support. Now promoted to an inspector in the police force, Guinea has had a lot of tempting offers from other well-to-do nations who are willing to sponsor her with a fat salary and luxurious livelihood to abandon her Gambian nationality and run for them. But Guinea has refused all such supposed temptations. Gambian athletes and their associations have been ignored by successive governments for over 20 years, and many sprinters, discouraged by the situation, have absconded in Europe when sent to international competitions. However, this did not discourage Gina Bass. Today, she is Africa's champion in the women's 200 meters, leapfrogging Marie-Josée Talou, the Ivorian superstar, and reaching the finals of the 200 meters at the 2019 World Athletic Championship in Doha, Qatar. She was finally recognized for her effort by authorities and was given land title deeds and swiftly promoted to an inspector in the police force. There has been so much preferential treatment in our country's sports, with footballers better cared for than athletes from other disciplines. Interestingly, football hasn't taken us anywhere yet, aside from the junior championships we've won. However, 2 stars combined to change the narrative this year, and they are Seni Jao and Babu Jara. Beach volleyball wasn't a popular sport until this duo altered the dynamics, battling through rough roads from the Gambian League to Senegal in Qatar, where they turned professional. Seni and Babu have been remarkable. This time they flew the flag high, becoming champions of African beach volleyball after they snatched gold in the African Games in Morocco before coming 9th in the World Tour. They already have their eyes on making it into the Olympic Games, but a lack of funding threatens to hamper their efforts. Asen Cisse, this guy has turned out to be perhaps the luckiest player ever. He was outstanding at former Gambian League champions Gamtel, signing well in Continental Cup competitions under the reigns of Tafa Mane. Initially, Cisse wasn't lucky to leave for Europe early and had to go through Senegal, where Swiss scouts spotted his talent at the age of 23. He toiled day and night and did not disappoint, going through Lugano Chisao and Swiss ex-league champions FC Zurich. In Cisse's first game in the national team against Algeria, he scored the equalizer. Things kicked off for him, and he has not looked back since, scoring 5 goals for the Gambia in 5 international games. Now he is Gambia's all-time joint top scorer with Mamadou Cisse and is in pole position to overtake Zico later this year when the qualifiers resume. From a local player looking for an opportunity, Cisse's rise to stardom in 2 years is tremendous.
I just want to say thank you all for selecting me as among the best in the Gambia in 2019. And during the national team, it has been an amazing run for me in the national team. So I hope it will continue in the 2020 until we reach in the African Cup. And we all make history, and I'm so proud to be there. And it's just a blessing to be part of it. And if you see how many sportsmen are in the Gambia on women, so if you are part of it, so you have to be blessed. So thank you all for choosing me as one of it, and I'm so happy to be there, and we hope to reach in the AFCON.
Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
The Department of Forestry, in partnership with the Food and Agricultural Organization, Saturday held the official launching of Forestry Trade Fair 2020. QTV's Ansumana Isonyasi attended the event, and he files in the report.
The program was attended by senior officials of the Ministry of Forestry and Environment, traders and community leaders, and is part of the department's main activities to strengthen and sensitize communities and local traders on how to positively explore the forest. The official launch of this year's trade fair came at a time when the department is intensifying its campaign against deforestation. Speaking at the launching of Forestry Trade Fair, the Director of Forestry, Mohamed Jaite, says forest resources constitute a significant portion of the socio-economic advancement of communities. He adds that communities should lead the fight against deforestation as government intends to transfer forestry ownership to local communities.
Currently in the Gambia, over 220 community forest committees and 27 co-management partners have been awarded with management agreements which entitle them to commercialize forest products in line with the established management plans. As I said, we have the community forest committees, and then we have the co-partners or co-managers that are the joint forest park management. So we have 222 communities that have already been awarded ownership of both the forest and then the land.
Explaining the importance of supporting community forest, Hatab Kamara, the head of Market Products Analysis and Development at the Ministry of Forestry, urged galvanization of concerted efforts at community level.
We look into all these 5 areas of enterprise development. Before entering in your forest park or in your community forest to say you want to fell a tree or you say you want to establish an enterprise, you have to look into the 5 areas. That is, you have to look into the resource base, that is the environment aspect of it. The enterprise that you want to establish, will it bring negative impact to the forest? You have to consider that. And also the market and economy. You have to consider also, you have to look into the profitability, the affordability of the product that you want to take to the village, to take to the market.
Jotna Gay, the Director of Participatory Forestry Management Unit, says recent statistics show that the Gambia is rapidly losing its forest cover.
Forest management is everybody's business, and it's an endeavor that requires a lot of investment. So therefore, I would also urge all and sundry to support this community forest program. You either do it in cash or kind. I think that is going to help us a lot. Everybody is talking about climate change, and the primary factor of climate change the world over is as a result of deforestation.
Officials express optimism that the trade fair will improve the livelihoods of local communities through better forest management. They hope to empower rural communities to achieve increased and regular income for sustainable economic growth through the provision of technical skills and various resources. Ansumana Isonyasi for QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, let's take a look at our main stories. Today marked only the second commemoration of World Braille Day, having first been commemorated in 2019. We gave a brief overview of what it's all about. World AIDS Day was 1st December. We find out how the day was commemorated in the last week of December 2019. And members of 3 years Jotna explain what they say happened when they tried to hold a fundraising event. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us same time tomorrow for more news. Have a good weekend.